Let's take a look at the book, The World of Cyberpunk 2077 together. So it's like a explanatory graphic novel style encyclopedia, basically, that was released shortly before the launch of the video game. So as you know, the video game developed by CD Projekt Red is basically based on a pen and paper role-playing game. So this here is a book that is introducing newbies, more or less, to the world of Cyberpunk. So on the back you can see, always take it to the edge, it's the Cyberpunk way. Step into a dark future where violence, oppression and cyberware implants aren't just common, they're necessary tools to get ahead. Explore the various districts, gangs and history of Night City. Learn all there is to know about the technology of tomorrow and research the cybernetics, weapons and vehicles of Cyberpunk 2077. Dark Horse Books and CD Projekt Red present an extensive examination of the rich lore of Cyberpunk 2077. This intricately assembled tome contains everything you need to know about the history, characters and world of the long-awaited RPG from the creators of the Witcher video game series. So it's basically, when you open it, there's like two black pages, and you can see the art style. It's really nice. So really high quality print. You can see some kind of editorial, the main people who produced the book. And here you have the content overview. So introduction, the modern world, some kind of backdrop, the collapse, the fourth corporate war, post-war. Yeah, pretty long, as you can see, 184 pages, so 200 pages, about 200 pages. Here you can see introduction, we live in a dystopian world, my friends, filled with crime, corruption and poverty, ruled by mighty, power-hungry corporations and heartless, brutal governments. So this is like an overview over the world behind Cyberpunk. So as you know, the whole story takes place in Night City, which is like, I assume it's Los Angeles, like a West Coast city in the US. So here it's talking about the collapse as the companies gained unfettered access to the world's natural resources. Environmental collapse and climate change were inevitable. So here you can see a small disclaimer that says it's not everything here is like during the war there was a data corruption loss and stuff like this. So it's like all within this world where you can see natural disaster, really bleak, Blade Runner-esque kind of world. Fourth corporate war. By June 2022, Militech and Arasaka decided that niceties and subtlety were altogether no longer necessary, and the conflict reached a third stage called the Hot War. So they're basically, painting a future where not governments but private companies are waging war. So something that is, in my opinion, not too far-fetched when you look at huge companies, huge corporations at the moment who gain power, who have a lot of resources. Look at SpaceX, look at Amazon, you know. So it's like pictures from this great war, from the war between different companies. Here you can see post-war, the post-war period from 2024 to 2035. This period marked the stagnation of technological development. The world took more than a decade to recover from global war, and the first few years were far from peaceful. Riot and rebellion burned in every corner of the globe. South America was still in political turmoil, and countries in Europe and Asia attempted to revive global trade by regulating the surviving corporations in order to re-establish government control after years of corporate hegemony. So this is like the flag of Northern California. You also have, which is pretty funny, you have ads within this encyclopedia, and the ads are like, within the cyberpunk universe. So this is like an ad for real water for 99, I think it's euro dollar, I'm not sure. I don't really know the currency of the game yet, because the game is not out, so I haven't played it, and I'm not too familiar with the whole universe. Here again, like a insurance company. Then in 2035 you had a reunification period. Night City was rebuilt by its citizens with the aid of nomads and smaller corporations. So it took 34 years, according to this encyclopedia, to rebuild Night City. Then here you have Unification War / Metal Wars between 2069 and 2070. The federal government of the United States, backed by nationalized military forces, declared war on the loosely allied separatist states. So it was basically some kind of civil war, it seems, between the new United States and smaller separatist states. Then here you have modern threats. We have a dangerous degree of social stratification, an enormous crime rate, and migratory unrest in almost every part of the world. Here it talks about the stabilization of Europe and Asia. It seems that the US didn't really fully stabilize. Here it says weapon manufacturers often use modern society's ubiquitous sense of insecurity as leverage to increase the sales. So you can see like some kind of parody, I would say, satire on, US style weapon loving families, more or less, I would say. So here you have chapter 2, Technology of Tomorrow, which is basically divided in cyberware, weapons, and vehicles. Then you also have brain dance and net running. And here you can see a guy who is basically strapped in this kind of, neuromancer style hacking or virtual reality. Yeah, where's this? Hello and hail to the free net. Today we're going to talk about modern technology. Yeah, so it's an introduction to this whole chapter. This is funny. Looks like a Formula One driver, but instead of a car, it's basically his body, where they are like fine-tuning some things in order to get him ready for sprinting, I guess. Here it talks about the market and availability. So a lot of text. I don't want to really go through it in too much detail. So here it's like a history of cyberware. So as you may know, the world of cyberpunk is based on a future where people modify their bodies. So, they use different technologies and different modifications to run faster, replace an arm. So here it basically talks about Prothesis and Generation 0 cyberware, Industrial cyberware Generation 1, how it developed. Generation 2 and anti-rejection solution implants hit the streets. And then you have bootlegged and black market cyberware, where people get implants on the black market, cheap ones. Here you can see real skin, synthetic skins, basically. This here is a Generation 4 string arm covered in infant quality real skin. So they are putting real skin on top of this cybernetic modification stuff. Here you have the rise of the mega corporations, Generation 3 cyberware. And this whole body modification thing goes from, smaller things, like you can see here, like parts